I mean, trying to come to terms with the fact that this man was in Spain for 7 years, not the initial year that was talked about in the early hours of yesterday, even quite late into the day. So they've been looking at particularly the area of Algeciras from where he came, which is a very poor area called El Saladillo, and it seems that it's an area of very high unemployment, drugs. In particular, there is a mosque which the Spanish press considered to be Islamist extremism, really, not a moderate mosque. All asking the question as to how young people could have been converted into wanting to go to places like Syria to fight in jihadists' causes. I can also give you another detail, which is that El Mundo is quoting the Interior Minister as saying that France monitored this man until he left for Syria, and there they lost the trace of him, that they didn't monitor him when he came back. The suggestion from that official being quoted by El Mundo is that he came back to France and back to Europe via Turkey and Germany, and that those two countries didn't consult that list that was set up for the Schengen members to see people who were potentially dangerous. That really hasn't been cited anywhere else, but El Mundo is citing Interior Minister on that.
Sarah, Spain seems to be doing a lot more now to tackle Islamic extremism. How have they been getting to grips with this problem?
They have really accelerated their efforts since the start of the year and the attacks in Paris, when it was, of course, the spotlight was put on the idea of young people returning, going to places like Syria to fight, returning and then living in Europe and being potentially a threat to carry out attacks here on European soil. One of the things that the Spanish government and police have been very hot on, they have said that they have to crack down on what is internet propaganda, with the recruitment of young people through the internet, and we've seen quite a number of arrests in that, 50 arrests for recruiters, all members, people signing up to go and fight in places like Syria.
Sarah Morris reporting from Madrid this morning. Thanks for that update. In other news now, at least 35 people have been injured in Beirut after protesters clashed with police over a rubbish crisis. Well, the mass rally in the Lebanese capital is the biggest backlash to date over the uncollected refuse which is building up in the streets. Protesters called for the overthrow of the government and decried the rampant corruption they say is behind the problem. Well, those calls were met with tear gas and rubber bullets, as Claire Murphy reports.
Amid ugly scenes in Beirut, crowds called for the government to be toppled. Growing allegations of political corruption in Lebanon's power-sharing system now seeping into a crisis originally sparked by rubbish building up in the streets. With the capital's main landfill closed a month ago, civic leaders have so far failed to find an alternative. And as some residents burn trash producing toxic fumes, frustrations are growing.
We're here to protest against the lack of jobs and poverty. We have no electricity and water. The only thing they're good at is hosing us with water.